Wait, hold on. Let me finish.
No, let me finish.
Welcome to Let Me Finish, the weekly podcast where we discuss what the hell's going on in pop culture, current events, and everything else in between.
We are your hosts. I'm Janice.
I'm Stacy.
And I'm Jillian. Grab a glass of wine and let's get started.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. It is episode 11.
Can
y'all believe that?
I cannot.
We actually have surpassed the 10. That's like what you're...
The 10 was my goal
Yeah.
to surpass, so we've surpassed it.
So we've surpassed that, and here we are. And so I will be moderating today. This is Stacy, and we have...
Jillian.
And Janice.
All right, let's get on into it. So what did y'all guys do this week?
Absolutely nothing, and I enjoyed it.
So, I mean, I had a lot of stuff going on at work, like a work outing or something that I had. Like, we went bowling. It was fun. And then I got sick. But I think it's from all the ripping and running from the last 2 weeks, you know, driving to New Orleans, heavily drinking that weekend, driving right back, going to work all week, and then turning around and jumping on a flight in the airport. We all know germs live at airports.
Yeah.
And just, I don't think I had a lot of rest in the last 2 weeks. So I think my body just had a hard time fighting off whatever's coming. So, but I'm on antibiotics now, so I feel much better.
Good.
And here I am podcasting with these beautiful ladies.
Yeah, that's especially before a really big vacation. What I do is a couple days before, take emergency.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been drinking emergency as soon as I started feeling under the weather, but preventative wise.
Yeah, that's what I do because I'm just like, I don't want to be sick on my vacation or right after. So yeah, a couple days before, usually you have to take it like 3 times a day. So
I remember when I got really sick when last time we went to Vegas. I was
You
so
did.
sick.
You did.
Yeah.
I was so sick, y'all. They felt so bad for me. I look like a poor little baby.
Yeah, she was.
They felt so bad.
Let's not talk about that Vegas trip.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we were
As sick as you were, you still found time to argue with me.
Oh, because Stacy and I
missed
got
it.
into it. That was like after. I mean, I had to have been after. Maybe I was temperamental and you need to back off.
That was the trip when we got into it really bad, right?
Maybe I was temperamental and you needed to back off.
And then
I missed it because they're like, we got an argument. I'm like, y'all got an argument?
you
was
were
in the
right
room
there
Jillian was right there.
I must have tuned them out
Tagging
because I'm
in.
like, what?
over something so
It was something
silly.
trivial, something about Kylie
It was
Jenner
about
or Kendall Jenner.
Yeah.
So silly.
Anyway.
But
I don't
anyways,
remember
and then
it.
also I just found out yesterday a guy in my class passed away, which was really sad because he was just always such a really bright, fun guy, and I think he had some mental health stuff going on and some addiction issues. So awareness to that because who knows, it's either an overdose or probably he could have taken his life. They don't give details, but they definitely said it had to do with those two things. So just sad. I think the last year, I feel like we lost a couple people from my class. So it's just sad hearing about it.
This is from high school.
Yeah, from high school. I mean, he was only 34,
Oh wow, that's
about to be maybe 35 now.
that's so sad.
And just obviously too soon.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so.
Well, I didn't do anything much this week either. I was exhausted from this whole trip from South Carolina, so I tried to just rest and relax and recoup. So that was it for me. Anyway, so just jumping right on in. Janice. Oh my gosh. I was going to say what has you in a chokehold, but then I was up on Instagram last night and guess what I saw? This is for you guys because I'm not into this. Sammy, sweetheart, whatever her name is.
She's coming back
She's
to
coming back to Jersey Shore.
I did see
All I
that.
could think about was y'all two.
I
and
didn't
it was-
see
It was
that.
so late.
It just literally, she just posted, I just saw it this morning. So if you saw it last night, I saw it this
It
morning.
was late, and I woke up. It was late, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
And she's like,
I gotta
I'm finally back. Because
But
Ronnie's not on
gone.
it, right?
Yeah, no,
Ronnie's gone.
He's gone.
So that's probably why she's able to
back.
come back.
Yeah.
I don't blame her. But with the new family vacation, they involve their family a lot more because Mike's wife is more involved and Pauly D's girlfriend is more involved.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Nikki.
So that was just for y'all because I'm like, I know y'all like that.
But
stuff.
I was so happy that she finally got to come back because I know the only reason why she hadn't come back was because of that abusive, toxic relationship she was in for such a long time because of the show.
Good for her, because she protected her mental health, which is good for her.
Great for her. So I guess let's see so for me this week, what has me in a chokehold. So I am still obsessed with this Murdaugh Murders thing. Like, y'all, when I get into something, I'm just obsessed. And I know I ended up watching the entire trial now that I can see the whole thing all at once. And of course, they found him guilty. He has 2 double life sentences or whatever. But I might be an unpopular opinion. I don't know. But I don't think he actually killed.
I feel like I have been hearing about it lately. And I've heard a lot of people saying they don't necessarily think he did it.
I don't. I think he knows exactly what happened. And I think there's more to it. But for whatever reason, he's just not going to. I mean, he'll take the double life sentences. And I don't know. Because
so do you think it was another family member?
Could have been.
So you don't think you did it, but do you have a suspect, basically?
I don't have a suspect, but for me, he just had no what was the motive to kill your wife and your son? It just makes no sense to me.
Do they really need a motive?
You don't have to have a motive, but the actual evidence
for 2 people?
And also to me.
I mean, remember we talked about the different reasons why people kill their families.
But here's the thing too. To me, they didn't even have enough evidence to actually, I didn't think there was enough evidence. Remember, they didn't even find the clothes that supposedly he had. I mean, they didn't even have the murder weapon.
What we were talking about before was like parents killing their children. Yes, he killed his son, but he also killed his wife. So I would think there would be a reason behind killing 2 family members.
And the son is grown. The son was 22. I mean, I just don't. I don't personally think he did it. I think he.
Okay, so
did you watch the trial? I didn't watch the trial.
I watched the documentaries. From what I can glean, from what I've seen, weren't they killed on their own private family compound? Like, yes. It's not going to be like somebody random's going to come up there.
Yes, it was on their own compound. Yes, and he lied and said that he wasn't there, but we do have Snapchat footage of him laughing and talking in the background with the family. So he definitely was there before the murders happened. So he definitely was there, but I still just don't think he did it. And there was 2 different guns that were used. One gun killed the wife, another gun killed a lot of things.
Could have been a murder-suicide?
No, I don't think so. I think, I don't know, I've heard some people say they may have been involved with the cartel or whatever. There's like a whole landing strip that they have on their property.
One of the...
Yes! Yeah, and they have access. Okay, not only do they have a landing strip, so they have a hangar, a plane hangar. You can land into their property, but they also are on the water too. So they also have access to get out into the water or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. So there's ways to get things in and out. You can do it by air or by water. So there was some stuff going around that they may have been some.
Yeah, that was in the documentary too.
So, okay. And I don't know a lot about this, so bear with me. But I was listening to something where they were talking about it, and they were saying something along the lines of like somebody getting beat up and like left on the side of the road.
That's a whole different story.
That's a whole nother thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's another thing. Here's the thing though. He got 2 double life sentences. Whether he had been found guilty or not for murdering his wife and child, he would have still been in jail for life for the
other things he's done.
Not even the people they supposedly said that they killed, but just for the financial crimes that he had committed. Like there was like 90 counts that he was being charged. Yeah. Either way it went, he was going to be in jail for a long time.
Because he was embezzling from his law firm.
And from his own clients that he was helping. So he would...
so he's stealing from their escrow accounts.
So no, what happened, the type of lawyer that he is, so if something happens, to you, you need to file a lawsuit because you were in a hit and run accident or whatever. Mm-hmm. He would be the one to represent you, right? And say, for example, your settlement would have been like $4 million or $5 million, right? Mm-hmm. That's what you would get. Of course, he would get his million or whatever because he represented you. But he was also scamming from the money that they were supposed to, he would give people like maybe $500,000 and take the rest of their money.
Okay, so just to explain how that works, because one of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, this is what got her husband in trouble. So he did the same thing whenever they do a settlement. And I do this all the time at the bank, where lawyers are required to, when it comes to settlement money, they're required to open up a separate account that they're a fiduciary over for any kind of settlement. The settlements will go to the lawyers. Lawyers take whatever they're supposed to have and then pay out, whether the settlement is, hey, I'm going to pay you $100,000 a month or $10,000 a month, and they're supposed to pay from that account directly to their clients. So that I don't know which housewife of Beverly Hills it was. Her husband was a big time lawyer in California.
Erica Jane.
Erica,
Yeah, her
yeah.
husband.
Girl, I was like, wait.
Millions
and millions of dollars, and that's what happened with her husband. So I think he was doing the same thing.
Yeah, so he, in addition to him getting paid all this money from these clients for repping them, he's also taking their money as well. So he was going to be in jail for a long time, regardless, because
They got him on all of that.
He actually admitted to it, because I guess it's better to admit to that than he was like,
Meaning
yes,
to
I'm
kill
a
him.
terrible person. I did this. I shouldn't have done it, and I feel bad. He admitted, even on the trial, he was like, yeah, I did that. Like, he couldn't even deny it at this point. So anyway, I'm still hung up on that, but yeah, I just don't think he did it. But yeah, that's
Okay.
I think that's interesting. I mean, I don't think we'll ever know if he can't really account for his whereabouts.
yeah.
It's a big compound, and only the three of y'all were in there. I would assume it was you too.
And
So-
they have one living son left, Buster, and
Yeah.
That's the one I kept hearing about.
so Buster, if you listen to they have
was
like
he there that night?
He said he wasn't. And if you listen to all the jailhouse calls that he makes, like the jailhouse calls were even weird, and people are saying, "Oh yeah, he was definitely talking to Buster in code about something." It was like a whole thing, and I was just like, this past week, I was like,
I'm sure they have like contingency plans in place with, hey, if I ever get this, I'm sure they have plans in place.
And I mean, the fact that the son Buster still has a relationship with him and was still taking his calls in jail and going,
His lost family member.
but that was his mother and brother.
But he technically
it
doesn't
don't-
know
it
if he
don't matter.
did it. So,
Right, so-
Yeah,
you
if
can't-
he-
I
if
would
he didn't
hope
do-
you wouldn't think that your father
I don't
killed your
know.
brother and
I just,
Yeah.
mom
to me, the evidence wasn't enough.
to convict him.
I don't. But
Okay,
I
well,
think because of everything else, they were just like,
yeah,
you
let's
lied,
go ahead.
You
let's go
lied
ahead.
so much, and he is a liar, because even in the jailhouse calls to the son,
Well, he's clearly a
you
liar.
could-
Still-
he's a liar. You could tell he just likes to have these crazy stories. Like,
Yeah.
some of the stories were just like, even the son was like
Elaborate.
Yeah, very elaborate.
Okay.
Yeah.
A little too detailed. Like,
Just-
okay.
I don't know. So
That's
anyway.
true when you're,
It
because
just-
usually good liars, you
the lies
try
just-
you try not to have too much detail.
The lies just flow off his tongue. I will say.
The
But
more
anyway.
details, the more chances you're gonna get caught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was that. What
Not
y'all
that I'm a
have? Y'all
liar.
have anything?
Nothing. I mean, like I said, I was just so tired from last weekend. Like this whole week, I literally went to work, and I'm just here to work as little as possible. I got my work done, but I wasn't doing anything super extra.
You were silent quitting.
No, not so much silent quitting, meaning like I wasn't like kikiing as much, because
Yeah.
my group is
You're
really
just trying
fun.
to get to your job and get out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I felt all week. Like, because I was like not feeling that great. My head was cloudy and I was tired. It was just more of a get everything done
And
so you
get
can
out.
go
So you can
home.
get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, nothing. I wasn't doing anything super extra. And like I said, my group is really fun. So a lot of times we would, gather around and talk some shit and all that stuff. And I'm like, not today. I just want to get my work, get it done and leave as soon as freaking possible.
Just get home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, well, we're going to go ahead and take a break, and we'll come right back and get into the main topic. You off. You wanted to say something.
Oh, I just wanted to mention International Women's Day was this last week. It was Wednesday. So, I mean, we're all women. We're on an all-female podcast. So, I think just recognizing that and was something I wanted to make sure we did because, women are powerful.
Yes, we are.
Amazing. Yes, absolutely.
All right, so let's get into this main topic. So this week we were talking about, because this just happened and it's fresh, about the 4 Americans that were kidnapped in Mexico, and unfortunately 2 of them did lose their lives. So
Yeah.
rest in peace. So
So it's like it was
a big
all over
deal.
TikTok.
Yeah.
That's like almost a TikTok made me do it, but not really. But it was just everywhere. But it was basically, I didn't mean to cut you off, Stacey.
no, you got you. I don't know, and I just feel like my opinions are always so different from y'all's, and sometimes I don't even want to say because for me, I wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt, like, oh my gosh, this is so sad that this happened to them, and supposedly she was going over there because she was getting a tummy tuck, and then they were going with her. But the more I started seeing, and they were kidnapped. So the more I started seeing things and hearing things, I'm like, wait a minute, this does
Adult
not.
napped.
I'm like, this does not sound like we're getting the whole story here. And I'm like, but I hate to just always think negatively about certain situations and people, especially if it's like people of color, because I don't want to be that one just to like look at them and see how they look and be like, oh, something shady is going on
I
here.
think a couple different things going on with the story are
Yes,
shady,
but
so.
I'm like, why are you, if you're going to get a tummy tuck, why do you need 3 dudes to go with you? Like, who takes 3 dudes to get a tummy tuck? Like,
That's the
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
that was just kind of threw
Like,
me
I'm
off.
gonna take my girlfriends, not my whole bunch of my guy friends.
I
Yeah.
mean, they can't help take care. I mean, you want
They
them to
don't know.
take
They
care
can't-
of you?
they
I mean,
can't help.
So,
They may. Well, honestly,
I mean,
when
pick you up, maybe.
when I first heard about this story, the story keeps changing throughout the week
Yes.
because different people. We've never actually heard from the actual victims.
The two
We're
left.
hearing the two remaining victims. We haven't heard anything from them. They haven't been interviewed. They haven't released any statements or anything like that. The only thing I've heard is from one of the victims' mother.
oh,
who wasn't-
there was a 5th person that couldn't cross the border. She did an interview.
She also did her interview with no one who was actually in Mexico and kidnapped. So there's only 2 remaining victims. And honestly, until we hear from them, I don't think we'll get the full story of what happened across the border. Now I'm with Stacey. The more I hear them, like, something's not adding up here. I don't know what happened because I wasn't there, but something doesn't.
Where are the
add
2
up.
victims right now? Why haven't they tried to interview them?
Well, one of the victims is a mother of 6.
Oh hell!
From what I heard, she likely was able to escape with no injuries, but one of the victims was
He
shot.
was shot. The other guy
and,
was shot.
and it was a serious injury.
Yeah, so
So
How did they get them back?
it was a joint. I guess it was a joint effort between the U.S. The U.S. didn't have any actual personnel on the ground, but like
So I
Mexican
saw something
authorities.
where they were saying that they were
they said the cartel turned over some people that they said
6
did it.
guys.
That's what the
6 guys that they said were involved in the napping of
kidnapping.
these people.
But if
And
you,
supposedly it was a mistake. It was a case of mistaken
That's what they
identity.
said.
And supposedly this particular region, this particular state, there's a really big time cartel war there that's going on right now. And so kidnappings happen every day there because of the drug wars there. So
it's a level 4. The travel advisory is level 4 for this particular state in
Yeah.
Mexico, and I don't know why you would travel there because it's on the same level as North Korea and Afghanistan. So why are you going there?
yeah.
To get a tummy tuck.
I mean,
Yeah.
Like-
so yeah,
That's the only reason why you quote unquote went to Mexico.
Yeah, the State Department does have I think only like a handful of states in Mexico. I think out of 30, I think 3 or 4, I have to go back and look at that, have no travel advisories. And even if you are going to other states like proper places like Cancun or
Cabo
or whatever, the State Department does have elevated risk. And I think when people are traveling, whether it's for medical tourism, vacation, business, or whatever, especially if you're a foreigner, I think a lot of times when we're traveling to foreign countries and going on vacation, we kind of let our guard down a little bit and maybe is not as attentive to our surroundings.
Oh, that's the opposite. My guard goes up.
Yeah, but most people do. I think when you're an experienced traveler, you know better. Because I've been on the State Department website. I'm like, okay, where am I going? Because remember a couple years ago when we went to the DR and we kind of freaked out because all those people were passing
we're
away.
dying from the alcohol thing.
Shoot.
Alcohol poisoning on the resort.
We still went though, and
We
still
went.
and we still drank that.
Girl, I was
we did.
drinking.
but
drank.
But
I was
remember,
like, listen, if it's my time, it's my time.
and we were like, people were like, you're going. I'm like, yeah, we're still going. I mean, it's only like
we
6
had the
people.
option
So many people were trying to talk me out of
We
that
actually
vacation.
had the option to because it was such a big deal at the time. It was right when it was happening.
Remember, what was the name of that website we used to use?
Book it.
But is it Book It?
I think so.
Yeah, yes, Book It. And we were trying to call, and their lines were completely
Because everyone was trying
full
to
because of people trying
cancel
to
their
change their
trips.
vacations.
And they were letting people do it, but we were just like, well, let's just
You only live once. Yellow.
Screw it.
because it was a huge vacation.
Well, like I said, even when it was going on, I definitely felt like there was something. I don't think it was just a random resort. Like it was like people were dying at the same resort though. So I think
it was multiple resorts.
It was multiple resorts.
It was like 2, and most of them happened at 1.
And I
can't
argue with you because I don't remember. So
I don't remember either.
Because I remember thinking, well, what are the chances of it being on our resort? What are the chances of it being my bottle? And if it is my bottle, then hey.
Yeah,
I think it was like corrupted, like
no.
alcohol.
I think what it was is that the liquor they were.
It was something with the liquor.
Yeah, the ones that died specifically because of alcohol poisoning, it was because it was liquor imported from China. It wasn't like top shelf well-known brands, but
that's what they were dying from, alcohol, something to do with the alcohol,
something in the alcohol, but it wasn't like your well-known brands. It was imported from China, so something happened, I think maybe in a transition or in the bottling of the alcohol.
All I know is nobody had died at the resort we were going to.
Exactly.
So I was like, yeah.
And I don't think it was the people who died. We went to Punta Cana. I don't think all these resorts were I was other places in DR.
I think it was Punta Cana. And for me, when I travel, I like, there's certain resort brands that I like one of the ones I really like is Royalton. So if I'm because I've never really heard any negative things happening at Royalton's as such as like any death or anything like that. And it's like a luxury resort. So if I find a brand that I like, whatever country I'm going to, I'll try to stay with, if they have that particular
brand,
then I'll go.
Have good experience.
And then, I love Garza Blanca.
Yeah, because
another luxury resort. So if
we did that,
there, I'll go there.
Yeah, and whenever you go to a brand that they're pretty consistent across their brand, no matter what country it is. Whether you're in Jamaica, Mexico, Cancun is in Mexico, wherever you're going, if they have a resort there, they're pretty consistent with the actual resort, with the stuff you eat and all that stuff. So you have that.
Totally got sidetracked because we're
but that's okay.
Yeah.
But I was just saying.
Back to the whole thing with
so either way, your guard should go higher.
Yes.
When you go to a foreign country.
But doesn't it strike you as odd that the 5th person that did not cross the border, they left her at a hotel. You're driving all the way from South Carolina to Mexico and you have no ID. So how are you going to cross the border?
So that's what I was saying. That story doesn't add up. Something about that story is weird because, again,
she was the girlfriend of one of the dudes.
Okay, so you're driving, right? At some point, you must realize I don't have my ID. So that's why I'm thinking, okay, so because it was before they actually got to the border and they were giving out their IDs, where they realized she didn't have her ID.
Well, I don't know when they realized. They may have realized early on she didn't have.
Because on the interview, there was an interview I watched, they straight up asked her, so did you get to the border and then realize? And she goes, well, no, she told me since I did not have my ID
that they're going to
stay in this we'll be back in 15 minutes.
So they probably knew all along that she had no ID.
I just don't think they were ever planning to come back for her.
Well, I just don't understand how you're going to Mexico to get a tummy tuck and you are taking 3 dudes with you because they can't go into the actual facility with you.
Well, because you're driving down from South Carolina. Okay, somebody needs to go with you.
So they were going to do what? Just leave her at the clinic and then come back and get her? Like,
I don't know how. I think the reason why she bought those additional people, because at the end of the day, she probably could have just maybe took one person if she had flown and then flown back and she would have been fine. But if it was a cost to split the cost from South Carolina and Mexico, anyone who lives in Texas that listens knows that just driving through Texas, that's a long drive. And you're telling me you're driving from South Carolina. So I think the reason why she took those additional I'm not going to be driving. So she may have taken those people because they were willing to drive the distance. Not necessarily that they're going to help her. Maybe that's why she brought the person that was left in Brownsville. But I think maybe those other guys were there to help with the drive.
I mean, they were there for something. I don't know.
Did the girl who interviewed, did she say that's why they were going down there was for the tummy tuck?
She did not say that.
She did not say that. So that's why I'm like, I feel like it was something different that they went down there for.
The mom,
I don't think it was a tummy tuck.
The mom is the one that came out and said that
they were planning to come back for that girl.
Well, that makes no sense because the girl said the next day when she realized they weren't there, it was almost close to time to check out. So they only had the hotel for 24 hours.
That whole thing is suspicious. First of all, even to go and do everything you have to do to cross the border, it's going to take longer than 15 minutes.
See, I don't know why they said it would be back in 15.
So that makes no sense.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Everybody in that situation should have known you were not going to be back in 15 minutes, especially the people who were leaving her. So that's why I feel like they never planned to come back for her.
Not in 15 minutes.
Not in 15. She might have been confused because she's...
Maybe they're trying not to have her panic. Like, hey, we'll be right back.
Yeah, because she was, from what I understood, and when Stacey sent me the video, whenever I'm making assumptions, is that whenever she figured out that, hey, you can't cross the border without any ID, which I
should have known before she left South Carolina. Come on, common sense, people.
I assume.
I feel like she forgot her ID.
Yeah,
You're making that trip from South Carolina to Mexico, and you didn't check to make sure you have your ID.
You never known anybody to leave their ID when they're going out of the country?
But we made them check, like actually physically check.
Because we actually do that. That's how we do that. But you don't know people who just go to the airport and be like, shoot, I don't have my passport. We have a cousin that did that. So had to turn all the way back around.
Yeah.
I know, but I just...
And is a very experienced traveler and still forgot his ID.
A long trip.
Yeah, it was. It was. Remember? Yeah, because the only reason
his name.
I was trying to call him out.
But we
the
did
only
make
reason
him
why
check.
that person is because I put in the chat. Everyone
touch it.
Jillian always says, like, when we're traveling, ID, passport, she's like, touch it, because people are like, yeah, I have it. But once you go touch it, because I've done it before where Jillian said, you have it. I said
cruise.
yes, and then she said touch it. And I said, oh shoot, it ain't in here.
That was the cruise.
Yes, and I was like, oh,
we were leaving for the port, and we were leaving the hotel room, and everyone have your and I'm paranoid because I don't like surprises. That's why I'm super vigilant about stuff like that. I'm like, Janice, touch it, and where she thought it wasn't there. What it was is I
think it was still in the safe.
Yeah, and at the hotel, and she went and got it, but. That's why I always do that, and I've actually saved a couple family members from that, Janice and another family member. But
I mean, I just find it odd that she didn't have it, and they told her they were back in 15. I mean, where were you going to go in 15 minutes to come back? Like, I don't understand.
I don't know. Maybe they never actually said 15 minutes. She may have assumed something.
And again, depending on what they were going down there for, it could have been a whole plan to have her wait at this hotel, and the plan went awry. And now you have to say, oh, well, they said this. But again, I'm just thinking your story is just not even a good one because you said 15 minutes.
But another thing too, I think the mother is the one that came out and said that she was going there for a tummy tuck. Other people, it has been reported that they said that they were there for medical stuff, medical drugs or something.
Okay, and she could have just told her mom that.
Medication.
Okay, so this is what I read, and this was on CNN because the CNN actually interviewed her mother as well.
Okay, I didn't watch the mother interview.
So based on what the mother said, was that throughout the trip, the daughter was keeping her updated as far as, okay, we're here. Then all of a sudden she went silent on her and couldn't get in contact with her. I'm assuming this is around the time that she actually was kidnapped. She actually called, this is what the mother's saying, I don't know if it's true, called the doctor's office where she was supposed to be having this plastic surgery. And she stated that the office told her, she called and said she was lost and was asking for directions to the office. Mm-hmm. And they were trying to help her, and they were asking her, hey, do you have GPS? We're telling her what to type into GPS to be able to find the office. And she never showed up for the appointment. And once the office told the mom that's when she got the authorities involved.
So, but then Stacey was saying that the doctor that she claimed she had the appointment with said that she never had an appointment.
Yeah, but I didn't fact check that. I saw that on TikTok. I mean, so they were saying that he said that he didn't have
an appointment because now what Jillian's saying is that the mom they confirmed, and that's why they knew that they were missing.
Yeah. This is what the mom said on CNN, that how she knew something was wrong was because
she didn't show up for
the appointment. The doctor was like, she called and she said she was lost and we were trying to get her here, give her directions to get here, and she never showed up. So,
the whole thing is just...
That's interesting. Okay. Because how long was she planning to be in Mexico?
I don't know, but if you're going for a tummy tuck, I mean,
maybe she was planning to be there for a couple of days.
you would need to be there for a couple
Which
of days.
is why I think as
At
far
least
as
until
that
the
girl
drains
goes,
were removed.
I don't think they were ever planning to come get her, or there was a whole nother reason why they were in Mexico, and she was supposed to be like hey, if we don't show up by this time, ring the alarm type thing.
Oh, well, unfortunately, her boyfriend was actually one of the victims that passed away.
Of the girl who did the interview. So the girl who did the interview
that was left in Brownsville,
saying that she was with the group, her boyfriend was there, and then he stated he didn't make it. But Stacy's whole thing is, well, why didn't he stay with her? But we really don't know what the true intentions on that trip really was and why her boyfriend might have not stayed with her. So that's what I'm saying. Like, finding out the true intentions of the trip is really the main thing, because they could have planned to leave that girl there and never come back for her.
Yeah.
Maybe he wanted to break up with her.
Yeah, she could, like I said, we don't know, because we haven't heard from the actual victims. We haven't really heard anything from the State Department as far as like any additional details, or from Mexican officials as far as like, other than that, the fact that they captured, supposedly the cartel handed over like 6 guys that were connected to the kidnapping. So
I think once you hear from the girl, which is, she's supposed to be the whole reason why they were going on this trip, I think an interview with her will reveal a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I personally think they should all stop talking.
Well, they haven't started talking.
Well, the
family members,
like the family members, were the 5th person that they left at the hotel.
The 5th person should have never come out and said nothing.
Yeah,
because she's the one that's making everything look real, like
real sus.
And she wasn't even
Real
there,
sus.
so
Right.
We don't know. Like I said, we don't know what their timeline was, how long they were going to be there, what plans they had after the surgery. We don't know any of that stuff. So at the end of the day, we're all speculating based on half truths and
what we heard
and partial information,
right. And TikTok
and people speculating on exactly.
TikTok is gold.
Right.
Yeah, it's
if
not.
TikTok said it must be
the
true.
truth.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think people are basing their opinions based off their own experiences, and what their experience may not have been her experience or what would have happened to her.
I will say this, because when it comes to plastic surgery and stuff like that, I know like a lot of people, because I've seen videos and like I've watched a lot of YouTube videos and stuff like that, and I've researched certain plastic surgery procedures and stuff like that. I will say, if you can stay in the U.S., please do. And cheaper is not always better. And I've heard too many stories of people.
Not always. I don't think ever. You get what you pay for.
That is true, especially when it's certain things like, there are certain things that I will go cheap on, but what I am not going cheap on is
surgery
my
on your
health
body.
or my body. Anything
Well,
to do with my body, like
It depends on where you go.
I need to look at the reviews, period. I don't care. Like,
because the biggest thing about having surgery overseas is this here. When you have a surgical procedure done in Mexico, or the DR is another big place that they go, it's like once you leave there and come back to the United States, if anything goes wrong, no doctor in the U.S. wants to touch you, because they're now can be held liable. So I've heard
for
stories
whatever
of people
complications.
went to have surgery done, and then they came back to the U.S. and within a week or so, something happened. The site got infected, and no doctor can help them, and then they're in the hospital.
Well, and that's in general, whether this is your doctor, whether the doctor's here or in the or overseas. Most doctors do not like to come behind other doctors, because they don't want to be liable for whatever errors were made.
But if your doctor's here in the U.S., then you just go to your doctor.
Your original doctor.
You have follow-up visits with your doctor.
Right. Yeah. Whenever you do have surgeries overseas, you have less options, because when it comes to follow-up care, some people do take the time to actually stay there the entire time. If you do have that option, it'll be great. But it just depends on where you go, because I've heard like people who have gone to Asia and the Middle East.
Oh, Turkey's a big place. I've been seeing people go now.
I heard that like
procedures.
It's
really cheap.
It's really cheap, but it's almost like a 5-star resort kind of thing when they take care of you in the aftercare.
Yeah, this girl I follow on Instagram, she went to Turkey, and apparently she had a nose job, and apparently they're one of the best. Apparently, if you're African American, getting a nose job is like a big thing, and not all doctors that do them are good at, because our nose, for whatever they say, is like different. So you have to like, it's like a specialty to be able to do it on African American nose.
No, it's just the structure.
There's apparently like this really good doctor in Turkey, and she went and had a nose job. And she was like vlogging the experience. And yes, it was like a 5-star resort.
Yeah. Like I've heard people who have gone to, and medical tourism is a really big push in the Middle East as far as like Dubai and United Arab Emirates and all those countries in that area. They have built state-of-the-art facilities specifically for the purpose of attracting foreign guests who want to get plastic surgery or any kind of medical
stuff there
procedure
that they don't do here in the U.S.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah, that's specifically their draw and push because though the U.S. we have the most expensive healthcare, we don't necessarily have the best.
Right.
We don't necessarily have the best outcome. So based on what we pay versus other developed countries. So I know a lot of countries, like I said, Middle East, Asia, of course, South America, and Central and South America is a really big deal. So yeah, it's the aftercare. It's not necessarily these are bad doctors. It's just they're not going to be there for the aftercare.
For the aftercare. I don't know. Just be careful and really look into where you're going. And like Jillian said earlier, check the travel advisories because I'm sorry, if it says level 4, do not travel.
Right.
Stacy's not going.
Yeah.
I don't care.
And it's just for that particular state. This is not all of
Mexico.
Is not all of Mexico. It's just this particular.
I love Cancun. And Cabo. Cabo is I love Cabo.
Yeah. So it's just this particular state. They have a really hard time right now with the cartels, and I guess there's some disputes between two different factors, two different, I don't know, how do you say, gangs or cartels or whatever.
And personally, just from everything I've listened to on the story from y'all, I do think there is probably some type of drug trafficking going on, probably.
Possibly.
Which is, I mean...
Not necessarily, we're not accusing anyone of actually drug trafficking.
We don't
from
know.
what I heard.
I'm just saying, I think there probably was something like that involved. I'm not even saying they're necessarily with the cartel. It could be you dropping... who knows?
They could have been just going to get some pills.
Exactly. They could have just wanted to go and pick up their drugs.
About Mexico is this at the airport. So I go to Mexico. We go there a lot for vacation because it's just so quick because it's like literally like 2.5 hours.
Feels like you're like across the world.
Yeah, and at the airport, which is crazy. At the airport, like you can buy. They have pharmacies in the airport, and like half the drugs that we have to have a prescription to get here.
Right.
Like I do buy like Retin-A. It's supposed to be good for wrinkles and stuff. And in the U.S., you have to have a prescription.
I'm sure a lot of people buy weight loss stuff.
And
across the border.
If I'm in Mexico or whatever, I will get like 2 tubes of Retin-A or whatever. Stuff is strong though; it dries my skin out. And that's prescribed here. But in Mexico, you can get all kinds of things in the airport at the pharmacy that you have to have, which boggles my mind. Like, why do we have to have a prescription for it?
Well, I mean, it depends because the FDA has different rules on different prescriptions. I think it has to be on the market a certain amount of time before it becomes considered over counter. It just depends on application and efficacy. It just depends.
I don't know, but
even when something goes from prescription to over the counter, the dosage is not the same. So
they could have been going to get stuff.
They could have just been going to get their own personal stuff. Who knows? But one thing I'll say, I do think it's really weird and sus that she's not hurt at all, and 2 are dead and 1 is injured, and you're just nothing.
I don't know.
I mean, I
think that's weird.
I know if I went through that, not saying. Like I said, I don't know why she was there, but if I went through something that traumatic, I don't think my first instinct would have been to run to the media, or I would keep my mouth shut.
No, I don't think that she should go to the media. I'm just saying the fact that she has no injuries.
Person that was going for the procedure?
I'm talking about the girl that was actually kidnapped with the group.
I don't know. I thought she was held somewhere different.
No, from what I read was, yes, she was found in a different location. In fact, they found the 2 dead bodies first, and then
so maybe they killed
the third, and then her in some remote place, some remote house.
I think
but
she would
it
at
could
least be hurt.
because they shot up the car whenever they snatched them out of the car. They actually shot up the car.
There was an innocent bystander that actually lost her life.
Yes.
So
When they were
did
shooting,
see that.
yeah,
Yeah,
when they
it's
actually
been-
kidnapped them. But it could be, could be at the end of the day, she just got lucky because she was just perceived of less as a threat than the three guys that were with.
She better not talk. I personally, I went through
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
I would
that's
not
true.
have anything to say.
She will need to process for her
If
to
she
even
was with
think.
the cartel for real,
I'm not
yeah,
talking.
keep your mouth shut.
If I get away from the cartel, I have nothing.
your mouth shut.
I don't even like saying the word cartel. I just don't want to say that
Yeah,
word.
like
I'm like, I ain't trying to be up in their business.
Like-
Yeah,
so
like we
In case
have no, we
anybody-
don't know who that is. We
we don't know who
idea.
y'all
I don't
are,
even
what
know
y'all do.
I don't know what that
Don't
word
care.
means.
none of
I'm
my
over
business.
here living my life in Texas.
living my life.
I mean, in Colorado.
Yeah. Texas. We don't live in Texas.
I don't live in no Texas. Nope. Yeah.
Y'all, we're laughing like it's funny, but really it's not. Everyone just.
Well, I think right now everybody's trying to speculate and figure out what's
happened.
really going on
we may
here.
never know because she may never talk. I wouldn't personally. It's
But which is why I think at the end of the day, well, again, if they just happen to get caught up in this whole situation with the cartel, that's just crazy.
that's
and
just crazy.
That's scary.
very
I mean,
scary.
Yeah, I don't know, but if y'all are thinking about doing this stuff, just be careful and just research the doctor, research the area, and all that stuff before.
Right.
But I mean, medical tourism is a thing, so that very well may be why she was going there, and it just unfortunately is just wrong place, wrong time. Or, thank God she's alive, and unfortunately, 2 people lost their life, and it's a traumatic experience. So.
For the other two, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but not to say that, apparently plenty of people have actually went to that doctor and had great experiences. I was seeing people talking about it on TikTok, how they went to him and everything. So just everyone be careful. I mean, just traveling out the country, period, wherever you go.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, traveling in the U.S. is scary too. So
Yeah.
And to be honest, driving across the border is a lot more in depth than going on a flight.
On a
so
flight.
I'm
I've
like,
never-
I would probably just say
I've never
maybe
driven
just
across the
fly.
border. Yeah.
Yeah, with this one friend that I work with, her family's from Mexico, and actually she went to Mexico and they drive down because her parents actually built a home in Mexico. She told me where, but I don't remember where. But they do it all the time. They drive out all
Yeah,
the
but
time.
they're from there.
But they're. She said that when they get to the border, they have to be on their P's and Q's and have
Yeah.
everything ready to go. And her husband always tells her, "Please don't cop an attitude with these people because." They will
snatch
try
you.
and pull
Yeah.
us off and search our shit. This is just dealing with customs and border patrol.
Because you got to really think about because we've flown into many a foreign country, and yes, it's strict, but it's quick. It's not like
Very
when you're
quick.
sitting in a car and waiting for them to come and like have a dog go by you and sniff you and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've never driven across the border. I've only.
Yeah, it's a little different
It's
because
more intense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a little different because there's a lot of places I can if anyone's watching To Catch a Smuggler, when it's a car, there's so many different places that they can hide the drugs on the car, whereas when you're flying, they're scanning your luggage, and they have dogs that go and sniff for drugs and explosives and stuff like that. So I just think it's a little less places to hide whenever it's at the airport versus when you're driving across with a vehicle.
Right. And so they check a lot more things.
Yeah.
Because I have a friend too that goes across, but she's from there. So it makes more sense. It's like, when we go to Jamaica, it's not as intense or intimidating for us because we've done it so many times. So I think it's just a little different there. I just think overall, just a weird story.
It is a weird story, but I mean, I hope she can get past this. I'm sure she's dealing with a lot of trauma, whatever the reason why she
Absolutely.
went there. So,
And
and
then-
y'all just be careful when y'all are traveling, no matter where you're going. I don't care how safe you assume a place is.
Yeah.
You're
You're not
somewhere
at home.
different. You're not at
Yeah.
home.
You're not at
so-
home.
You're
Yeah.
not at home,
Yeah,
yeah.
so just-
Anything can happen. Even when you're on vacation, doesn't mean bad things can't happen to you.
I mean,
Right.
people go on resorts and bad things happen to them.
On the resorts. Yeah.
On the
So-
resort, yeah.
So I think that's all we had today. We can go ahead and wrap this one up. Did y'all
Yeah.
have anything y'all wanted to
Yeah,
say?
we just wanted to
Closing
really talk
thoughts?
about it. It's funny, this whole
Closing
topic.
thoughts is that I think we all just thought it was kind of suspect. Or I think we'll see as the story unravels.
Yeah.
Maybe more will come to the story. Like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and say it now. I call bullshit on that 15 minutes. I don't know. That's the one part of the story I'm like really like 15 minutes.
There's not much you can do in 15 minutes.
No, you
Nothing,
can't.
bro. Like, were you planning to go pee real quick and come back?
Because it might take 15 minutes to go down to the hotel.
You literally take 15 minutes to drive to the border.
Yeah, I don't understand why she said they're back in 15 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. That does not make sense. Period. So that's my closing thought on it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. The more, like I said, when I first saw the report, I'm just like, because we had just gotten back from South Carolina. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. At the time, they were just missing. They hadn't found the bodies yet, and recovered the two surviving victims. But I just like, that's.
There's a lot that happens
weird.
with people from South Carolina, because I realized when we got back too, I was like, oh, the Murdaugh murders, that's South Carolina. And they were talking about, like, on some of the trial, they were saying that they were in Columbia, and I was like, oh, that's where I was. It just made it that more interesting, because I was like, oh, I was just in South Carolina.
We were just right there. Yeah.
So yeah, it's this whole. I think more information will come out, and like I said, I'm reserving judgment because
there'll be something to judge.
I have questions, but until I get more answers, I'm going to reserve judgment.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're getting out of here, and we will talk. Oh, make sure you guys leave comments and leave ideas of what you want us to talk about. Just want to hear from you guys, see what you think.
Yeah, I think we just want to know, because we've had a couple different types of topics. So which one do you guys like more? The heavy hitting ones, the lighter hearted ones, the, news topic about missing people? Like, what do you guys like to hear?
Just let us know. All right, we're out of here.
Okay, bye guys.
Bye. Thank you for listening today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on the platform you're listening on, and leave us a review.
We want to support local businesses, so if you'd like us to shout out your business, or if you have a topic suggestion, or even questions for our QA section, we want to hear from you. So reach out to us at letmefinish@gmail.com.
You can find us on TikTok and Instagram at Let Me Finish. Don't forget that the E in me is the number 3. You can find me at New Jillian Houdis on Instagram. Stacy, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Mrs. Cams01. I'm also on TikTok, Mrs. Cams01, MRSKAMS01.
And Janice, where can we find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram at Uniquely Janice, and Facebook and TikTok, I'm just Janice Housen.
Okay. See you next week.
See you next week.
See you guys then.